Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council, and on Designing Your Life Today, I want to talk about understanding confidence versus pride. Now, I decided to talk about this because I think it's important for us to know the difference between, let's say, complimenting ourselves and embracing something that we love to do, something at which we are good at doing. And I think it's important that we do that and we acknowledge that. Not that we go around and talk about it all the time, but that we accept the idea that there are some things that we are really super good at doing. So when we can acknowledge that, this allows us to grow. This allows us to accept the destiny. I also wanted to talk about this because pride, I think it's important that people understand that pride is not what we think it is. We say, oh, I'm so proud of that person. And while that's not necessarily a bad phrase, the idea of what pride represents is not something that allows us to flourish. So let's get into it. So we're going to talk about understanding confidence versus pride. Now, first of all, when it comes to confidence, the Bible tells us to not to throw away our confidence. Cast not away, therefore, your confidence, for it hath great recompense of reward. So it's important that you don't put your confidence away, that you don't pretend that you're not good at something that you know you were born to do, or that you love doing, and you are in fact very good at doing this. Why? Because this helps you take your place in the world. Now, here's the other thing about confidence. Confidence is a high self-esteem kind of energy. It's high self-esteem, and it helps you to understand who you really are. Plus, it gives you clarity on who you were called to be. And once you can get clarity on who you were called to be, you need that confidence to follow through so that you can fulfill your destiny. And I talked about this in another podcast, about the fact that confidence is connected to faith. So if you don't have confidence, you really don't have faith. You don't believe in anything other than what you can see. And that's not necessarily a good place to be. Why? Because you can't feel beyond a certain point. It hinders your imagination. It stops you from believing in possibilities. Confidence is a part of what allows you to feel that connection to God, if you will. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the Bible says without faith, it is impossible to please God. So if you have faith, if you have confidence, then you have faith. If you have faith, now you're pleasing God. And I'm guessing as human beings. Well, wait a minute. I don't have to guess. I'm a human being. We can all feel or sense that presence. So with that being said, it is important that you understand how powerful and how necessary it is to have confidence. I also wanted to mention this because in terms of thinking about what you're called to do, in terms of thinking about a destiny, confidence allows you to have the courage to design your life, to design a life that you were called to do. And so we also learn to discern, in other words, who are we listening to? Who are we not going to listen to? Anyone that talks you out of a God-given calling or a destiny, because they make it sound as though confidence is the same as pride, then you may not want to listen to that anymore. As a matter of fact, you just go and look it up yourself. Do your own homework. That's why the Bible says study to show thyself approved, because there will be people, and these are people that perhaps we look up to. They can be pastors. They can be teachers. They can be family members that we respect. And when they say something, we take it as fact. But when you understand what it truly means to have confidence, you're going to do a lot of your own thinking. You're going to be excited about doing your own research, and you're going to come into your own. You're going to start to open up so that you can be who you were called to be. And see, here's the thing about confidence. There are things that will happen or can happen in your life that will challenge your confidence and that will cause you to lose confidence. That's why we're told not to lose our confidence. We're told not to discard our confidence. Okay. Because when you do that, once again, you are letting go of faith. And when you let go of faith, then you are also saying, you know what? I'm willing to settle. And it doesn't matter if I have a fruitful, fulfilling life. It doesn't matter if I design my life or not, because it's already been designed for me by mankind, not by God, but by mankind. You see, confidence causes you to throw away the essence, a big part of who we were all made to be. And this is why it's important for you to have that confidence. Again, it's a high self-esteem kind of energy. And the other thing about confidence is that confidence, it causes you to go into servant mode. It allows you to serve others. Confidence is not a self-serving thing. And we're going to get to pride in a moment. But I thought, hey, let's start out talking a little bit about confidence. And then we'll probably wrap up talking about confidence, I think. So with that being said, this is why it's important for you to have confidence. I have been on both sides. Okay. Personally, I've been on the confidence side. I've been on the prideful side. And then I got back on the confidence side. And I can tell you, it feels a whole lot better. It's a lot more freeing. And it just allows you to open up. And all of a sudden your mind opens up and all these great ideas come. And not just the great ideas come, but with it comes a kind of strength that you need so that you can stay the course, so that you can focus, so that you can get to where it is. Not just get to where you desire to be, but get to where you have been called and designed to go. Okay, called to be and designed to go. So think about these kinds of things. And this is why it's important that you don't give up on confidence. This is important why you embrace the idea that you are a confident person. I can tell you, people will challenge your confidence. When you say something and you're confident about what you're saying, and it doesn't mean that you're bragging or anything like that. That falls under the category of pride. And we're going to talk about pride in a moment. But when you say something and you come from that position of confidence, then even if someone challenges you and you know in your heart of hearts that you're right, you don't have to do battle with them. You just let them be whatever it is they want to be. but you stay the course because you know that you are on a path that's helping you fulfill a destiny. So this is the importance of understanding confidence and not setting it aside and not pretending that you're shy and that you don't have confidence. And with that being said, and some of you might like it and some of you might not like me saying this, but as I said, do your own research, do your own homework. So with that being said, let's cross a little bit over to pride since we mentioned shyness. While some people think it's cute and they embrace it. Oh, I'm so shy. Actually, it is a form of pride. It falls under pride because shyness is a very self-serving thing. So let's talk about pride a little bit more. And I think we're going to wrap up kind of talking about confidence, or maybe we'll wrap up with both of them. We'll see. So pride, as opposed to confidence, pride is a low self-esteem type of energy. You know, people go, oh, he's so puffed up with pride, or she's so prideful. That is a low self-esteem energy. As a matter of fact, pride is an indication that there is a lack of confidence. Okay. See, someone thinks that when they say, I am a good writer, or I am a good singer, or I'm a good, I don't know, dancer, or I'm good with internet marketing or on the computer or with AI or whatever the case may be. I'm a good doctor. If someone thinks, if they say that, they think they're being prideful. No, what you're doing is you are saying, you know what, the thing that I'm called to do, I'm doing it and I'm doing it very well. And if you think there's a problem with that, keep in mind that we are made in God's image. And if you go back to Genesis, and you guys, I know this sounds, I'm going to the Bible a lot on this, and I don't apologize for it, but I want to explain it to you. This, in order for you to be successful, the beginning of success and carrying out anything that is of any great significance in your life, it does come from, it starts from the spiritual part of you. And so the more you can understand that, then it goes, you know, you become mentally stronger. Okay. Then eventually you're going to not allow anything to attack your emotions. So you're going to be emotionally strong and then ultimately physically strong. When we think about physically strong, we think about just, you know, being physically fit, the body. Yes, it is about having a healthy body. It is about being physically fit, but it is also about being able to physically carry out the actions necessary for you to get to where it is you desire to be. So with that being said, let's get back to talking about pride. So when you are amplifying something that is not you, in other words, something that you're not made to be, then it falls under pride. And this is why the scripture says, you know, pride it goeth before a great fall, or it cometh before a great fall. So you put pride out there and you start to fail. Okay. Now that is a failure. You guys who've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you know, I always say perceived failure. That's not a perceived failure. That is a real failure. The plus is that it doesn't have to be a permanent failure. Okay. So it is a failure because you're operating in a way that you were not designed to be, the way you were not. Remember, we're built by design to win. So when you start embracing your weaknesses over your strengths, then you are operating actually under pride. Because what you're saying is, the Bible tells us not to allow any imaginations to exalt itself over God. So we're talking about these imaginations that tells us that we're weak. These imaginations that tells us that we can't thrive. these imaginations that tell us, oh, you're too shy to get in front of people. Oh, you're not good at speaking. Oh, you're not good at this and that. Okay, that's an imagination that exalts itself above God. And so it tells us to cast down that kind of thinking. The only thing that allows us to surround ourselves with that kind of thinking is pride. So when we talk about like the difference between confidence versus pride, then one of the things we want to consider is that when it comes to pride, we start to believe that we are someone based on, let's say, a man-made title. Okay, it's all about how high up the so-called corporate ladder you are. It's about, in terms of if you were in the military, how high in rank have you gone? Okay, and if you actually run your own business, it is about thinking that you are above all those who work to help to make that company make you a success. And there are other areas of pride. I just gave you one, shyness. And so I pick shyness because a lot of times we don't stop and think about what pride really is. It is very difficult for you to be successful and achieve your goals when you operate from pride. Okay. Pride talks about or is about arrogance. Okay. And of course, the Bible does talk about pride as a destructive way of being. And so it is about coming from that position of arrogance, thinking that you're something that you're not. And so you would say, well, wait, you just said, with confidence, I can think I'm all that. Well, you can think that you are all that you were designed to be. Pride allows you to think that you are something that you created, something that you came up with, something that you thought, wow, I'm the best ever. You may have seen this in some sports figures, and I'm not going to call any names, but you may have seen this in some sports figures. And so we hear from them one day, and then the next day you don't hear anything from them, once they leave the game. Okay. Or they have no legacy. So think about this when it comes to your business, when it comes to your goals. Are you allowing pride to think that you are something that you're not? You see, when we think that we're something that we're not, then we're operating in pride. The other thing about pride is people who are prideful, it's not about them serving others. People who are confident understand that they are in the capacity of a servant. People who are prideful think about what's in this for me, and what are you going to do for me? And so it is about someone serving that person. It's not about them serving others. And I've met people like that. And like I said, I've been on both sides of it. All right. I guess I'm confessing. But that was yesterday. This is today. And so one of the reasons that the fall comes is because pride is it is a low type of energy, but it comes with low energy activities, okay, and low energy action. It has no love energy, and it has a kind of self-sustaining power. But when I say self-sustaining, that means the individual is trying to sustain themselves. Okay, remember, we are the branches that are connected to the vine. And so when you disconnect that, you can do very little. And you have some power left. But just like any branch that's disconnected from the vine, eventually that branch, it withers away. Okay. And it dies. Now, I'm not saying you're going to die, but what I'm saying is whatever it is you are working on or whatever it is you are doing, eventually, because you think it is all about you and that you're sustaining yourself, that kind of power is limited. You can't last. And I wanted to address that because one of my favorite scriptures is for God to not give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So he gave us that spirit of power. He gave us that power. Okay. However, without staying connected, it's like, I don't know, if you're plugging in a socket, if you had a lamp and you're plugging that lamp in, as long as you're plugging that lamp in and the bulbs work, it's going to shine, shine, shine. But the minute you unplug that lamp, okay, while it still has the capacity to, shine, the light has the capacity or the ability to shine, I should say, it's not going to shine because it's disconnected from the ultimate power. See, confidence keeps you connected to the ultimate power. And any goal that you are setting, if you put your attention on your confidence, and because that's where your faith is as well, you're going to make something great happen. So as I said about pride, it has a self-sustaining power that cannot last. This is why the fall comes, because it can't last. And because it's not connected to the sustaining power. And so when people are working on achieving a goal and they give up, or it doesn't happen, or they don't go to the next, let's say, part, okay, or they don't get any kind of results, okay, or the next step, I should say, and they don't give any results, and it's because they are trying to operate on their own power. It's their pride. Their pride is holding them back. So pride is a bigger deal than we realize. I think this is why I guess it's one of the 7 deadly sins, because pride is not a good thing. Pride, as I said, it is not only is it self-serving, but it's also self-centered. And so this is the other thing about pride. It serves no one. And you can automatically tell when someone is being prideful. Now, let me throw a caveat in here. It is important that we understand it's not about, this isn't about you hearing this and going and thinking about, oh, that person's prideful, and about you judging other people. That's not what this is about. What this is about is you recognizing that you are here to do life with power because you're built by design to win. And you listen to this and you say, hey, what in me do I need to deal with, so that I can achieve my goals, so that I can do life with power, so I can have this fulfilling, fruitful, faithful life and be excited about waking up in the morning. I've seen people who think that because they're good at something, they say, well, it's all right. It's okay. And they think that's cute. That is so not cute. Okay. It's not cute. And I've shared this on some other podcasts, and I'm going to share it again. It's kind of like if God gives you the gift, for example, if you're a singer and God gives you a beautiful voice, he gives you the ability to sing, and someone says, wow, you sounded great. That was awesome. And the first thing out of your mouth is, well, I did okay. So you're downplaying. That's a lack of confidence, number one, and it is pride. You're being prideful. You go, really? I thought I was being humble. That's not humility. Okay. A humility is a willingness to do that which God put you here to do and to align with that power so that you can get it done. All right. So with that being said, that's what I think it's important for you to understand about pride. And it's important to ask yourself, am I being prideful when I think I'm being humble? Am I being prideful when I'm shying away from doing something at which I know I'm good? I know I'm good at this thing. So am I shying away from that? Okay. So am I being prideful when someone says something good to me or give me a compliment and I shoot it down? Wow, you look good today. Well, I look okay, Or really, this whole thing, understand this. You're fearfully and wonderfully made, built by design to win. So if you're built by design to win, that means you're amazing. That means you're magnificent. Okay. That means that if someone tells you that you look good, okay, that means you say thank you because you want to embrace it. That's confidence. So the other thing, I want to say is that, and is that confidence is rooted in love. And that's why the great rewards come. You see, love and faith, they're like not just first cousins. They're like brother and sister, okay? Or brother and brother. They're related, okay? Like full DNA here. So confidence is rooted in love. And so, as I said, that's why the great rewards come. You fall pride. When someone falls as a result of pride, it's because everything that they were doing, as I said, it was self-centered, and it is not rooted in love in any way, shape, or form. So when you hear someone says the only person he's in love with is himself, well, that's not true. Like a narcissist, for example, they don't love themselves. As a matter of fact, they have low self-esteem, and they kind of almost hate themselves. They don't like who they are, you see. So look at where you're headed when it comes to your goals. All right. So this is like all out April. If you really want to go all out, you have to remove that part of you, or ask God to help you and identify it and say, you know what? I'm going to turn the other way. Okay. I'm going in another direction. If you're going in the direction that says you're shy, if you're going in the direction that says you're afraid, if you're going in that direction, then you can make a decision that you're going to do something different. Does it happen overnight? I don't know. I don't think it does for everybody. I think it does for some. I think sometimes there are people who say, you know what? I'm never going to do this again. This is not who I am. And they wake up and they don't go back there. And then there's some people that kind of struggle with it. So, but you have to decide what works for you. The bottom line here, you guys, is that you work to strengthen your confidence so that you can start to achieve, and you don't talk yourself out of the best that life has to offer you. Now you say, well, isn't that all about me? Because see, we're taught that we shouldn't have nice things. We shouldn't have a lot of money. We shouldn't have this. We ought to give it away and that kind of thing. Okay. But here's the thing. Is that no, you want the best that life has to offer you. Number one, if you're doing it in the name of confidence, then you're showing the blessings that come when a person aligns with confidence, okay, and faith. All right. The other thing is that when you get the best that life has to offer, it strengthens you so you can do more and you can do better and you have more to bring to the table or to deliver to this world that will help make other people's lives better. This is why you don't want to shy away from confidence. Confidence inspires you to do the things that you need to do so that you can fulfill your destiny and the rewards that comes with that. Okay, now faith is the reward, the connection to God, those are the rewards, but there are other rewards, as I said, that will bring you that fruitful life. You need that fruitful life so that you can do something for someone else. So you are free to carry on and continue to fulfill your destiny. See, we think we only have one destiny. And I don't think we all have just like one destiny. I think it's like milestones. I think you fulfill one destiny and then here comes another one. Okay. You get another assignment. You get another calling. You get another idea. And here's the thing about confidence. With confidence, okay, it kind of opens your mind and you can see what's needed. And then you can decide, wow, I have that gift. I have that talent. I can help. But with pride, it's all about you. It's all about, well, I'm going to do what it takes to I'm going to work this job. I don't like it, but as long as they pay me, the kind of money I want, I'm happy. Really? I've never met a prideful person who was happy. Not one. When I was kind of in my little pride mode, I can tell you, I was not happy. I look back on that and I thought, oh my goodness, I wasn't happy. Did I get a lot of things done? Yes. Did I get the things as much done as I needed to get done to fulfill a destiny? No. It wasn't until I made the shift. So it's okay that you take a look at yourself. This is how you go all out. Most people think, okay, all out is about work, 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 work. Well, it is about giving it your all when it comes to taking as I said, the physical actions and making things happen. It is about that. But you won't be able to take the necessary actions if you don't begin with the part of you that you need to listen to. That's your spirit. Remember, I always talk about the fact that I call them the power cores, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. I always talk about those. So, and I use the analogy that these are like 4 tires on a car. And if one is flat, then there's a problem. Okay. So you can even hear your spirit, but if you're physically unhealthy, then you're not going to get much done either. So confidence allows you to take a look at yourself and embrace all of who you are and to make the necessary adjustments. See, confidence doesn't say I'm perfect. It doesn't say that. We're only made perfect through Christ Jesus, according to the scripture. But confidence doesn't mean that you're perfect. Confidence means, you know what? I'm confident enough to look at myself to see what I need to learn, to see what kind of adjustments I need to make in my life so that I can fulfill my mission, if you will. So think about that. So I want to encourage you to take a moment whenever you have your quiet time, whenever you're sitting there journaling, to take that time and jot down what areas of my life that I would like to see growth and there's no growth. What goals do I want to achieve that I've been dreaming of achieving these goals for years and years and there's nothing. You have to look and see. Now, another caveat, a lack of confidence, that's not the only thing that can stop you. But I would say that's a pretty big one because it's connected to faith. All right. So with that being said, we could go on and on, but I want to wrap up on this. So I hope you get a better understanding of confidence versus pride. When you have that understanding, now you can set yourself free to be who you were designed to be. God didn't design us to be losers, to be weak. And that does not mean we won't be weak sometimes. It does not mean we won't face challenges. But confidence allows us, when we fall down, it allows us to get back up and say, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. It allows us to get up and say that. And this confidence allows us to actually say, you know what? I have a tremendous amount of faith. Remember, they're connected. So that's all I have for you guys today on Designing Your Life Today. I want you to enjoy this magnificent Monday. And no matter what, do life with power, knowing that you are built by design to win. By the way, confidence is about knowing.